Welcome to the Word. As you can tell, I'm kind of at the church, but I'm kind of not. I am actually recording from home due to some unforeseen circumstances, but that is not neither here nor there. But we are in the Word today, and we are in the finale of a series that we've been doing called Best Year Ever. It's our way of ending 2020 strong and making us stronger for 2021. Because it's right around the corner. We are 8 days away from 2021 being here, which is already blowing my mind. So, welcome again to the Word. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mark Middleton, the Youth and Children's Ministry Director here at Bethany, and we are going to walk through it together. So, this week we're going to focus on something that's called the long-term mindset. We're wrapping up the story of Joseph that we've been talking about throughout the entire series. Two sets of scripture. We're going to read Genesis 22 to 26, and Hebrews 11:12. And the focus, the main thing to take away from today's lesson is this. I want you to see the world through a long-term lens. We need to see that there are things that we can do to improve our perspective on our own lives. And to see life through this long-term lens, we need to pray, seek out a mentor, and write down our goals, which again is the perfect thing to enter 2021 with, because we always do the resolutions no matter how bad we don't follow through with them, but we do. So let's get into it. We have finally made it to the end of Joseph's story and the end of Joseph's best year ever. We have learned so much in these 6 weeks, especially that in order to have the best year ever, you often will have to go through some trials and difficulties to get there. Now, Joseph had a knack for seeing life through this long-term lens, as opposed to a short-term lens. And here's what I mean by that. A long-term lens means seeing life as a collection of events that ultimately combine to create a legacy over a lifetime, while a short-term lens means seeing life as nothing but small moments and living as if every event is a single, isolated experience. In other words, people who live by the long term understand that there's usually a greater purpose for everything that happens, but people who often live by the short term lens just want to focus on the moment. They're deeply affected by emotional reasoning or whatever happens. So, for example, Joseph was able to forgive his brothers for throwing him into a pit, selling him into slavery, because he saw through the long-term lens that God was going to use his experience to lead Joseph into a situation where he'd be second in command and save thousands of people through a famine. But Joseph didn't care about the individual moments. He cared about the legacy he was leaving on the world. And if you want to have the best year ever, you have to see your life through that long-term lens. So today we're going to pick up in the story when Joseph's time on earth was just about up. He's dying at this point. And his last words here will probably shock you. So join me in Genesis 50:22 to 24 to start with. And then we'll pick up the rest of the story in a minute. Genesis 50:22 to 24. Again, I read through the Message just because it's a little bit more of a good storytelling book, and one of the best books, I think, to tell Joseph's story through. So here's what it says. Joseph continued to live in Egypt with his father's family. Joseph lived 110 years. He lived to see Ephraim's sons into the third generation, the sons of Machir. Manasseh's son, were also recognized as Joseph. At the end, Joseph said to his brothers, I am ready to die. God will most certainly pay you a visit and take you out of this land and back to the land he so solemnly promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So even though Joseph had lived with the Egyptians, he understood that they weren't his people. What they mean is they weren't his followers of the one true God. And because of this, he knew where his roots were. He knew where he came from. He encouraged his family not to forget the promise that God made to him. So this is going all the way back to Genesis 12 with the initial promise that God made to Abraham about have many nations named after you, that comes from his lineage, blessings of the land, all that kind of stuff. We've talked about that tenfold by now. even though they were wanderers in the current moment they were in. They wouldn't stay that way because God is going to provide. Again, this is the idea of that long-term lens. Now, focusing in the moment they're in, the wandering moment that the brothers are in, but Joseph is focusing on the deliverance that God's going to give them long time down the road. And to wrap up, Genesis 50, verses 25 and 26, they say, "Then Joseph made the sons of Israel promise under oath, when God makes his visitation, make sure you take my bones with you as you leave here." Joseph died at the age of 110 years. They embalmed him and placed him in a coffin in Egypt. Now I know, after that, you're probably confused. I know it confused me. These are Joseph's last words, but they don't exactly pack the punch you'd expect them to. I mean, take my bones with you? It's kind of weird. Well, not really. As we mentioned before, Joseph understood that Egypt was not his actual home. His real home was in the promised home of God, and he did not want the gaudy, dramatic burial that most Egyptian rulers got. He wanted his humble end with his people, the people of God. Why? Because his legacy meant more to him than wealth and fame. Let me say that again. Because his legacy meant more to him than just wealth and fame. And what a thing we can learn. Hebrews 11:22 says this, "But in act of faith, Joseph, while dying, prophesied the exodus of Israel and made arrangements for his own burial." So the whole chapter, Hebrews 11, is dedicated to the people who lived in the long-term lens of life. They left a legacy on the faith of the world. They wanted to be remembered not only for their accomplishments or victories, but for their faith in God over their entire life. Joseph's story is so cool because he saw past all the trials and all the difficulties to be able to see God's wonderful plan. And this is what Jesus wants for us too. So how do you keep from seeing life in the short term? Well, I have a couple of ideas. 3 points to make. Point number 1. When you're upset at something in life, pray that God would help you trust him. It's not easy, but you can learn to trust him through every trial if you continue to pray. And there was a reason why I said 2021 prayer is going to be our strongest weapon yet. Is because prayer will help us grow closer to God in the midst of whatever chaos, whatever trials, whatever life throws at all of us. Point number 2, to ask someone older and wiser to mentor you. Mentors can help you see things in life that you don't see. That's why you often hear to getting a third-party perspective, because they're outside influences that can look at your situation and determine what's wise, what's not, all that kind of stuff. See things beyond your lens of reality. When you feel heated and emotional over a situation, mentors can help you see how God might be teaching you something. So yeah, there can be a bigger picture to all this. And I know when we go through trials and all that, we don't want to hear that God's doing this for a reason or God's making us stronger for it. Obviously not. And obviously that's not always the case. Sometimes we're just victim of life's own circumstances. But as I've said before, your tests turn into your testimonies. And God's not causing the hurt, causing the trials, causing all that, but he is working with you within the trials to strengthen you. And whether it's strengthening your trust in him, strengthening your faith in him, whatever it is, there's strength that is being built. Again, not because God caused these trials in order to grow you, but because the trials that we go through grows us no matter what. So the last point is, write down what you want your legacy to be. How do you want to be remembered? What do you want people to say about you when you die? Write these things down. Keep it on a list where you're going to see it daily. This will help remind you of the bigger picture goals for your legacy. Want to have the best year ever? Leave a legacy on the world in the name of Jesus. And that is actually it. we are done with Best Year Ever. A couple quick announcements. Just to let you know that there will not be the Word next week. We are taking a break for Christmas and New Year's. We will be back on January 6th with a new series called Power of Influence. I'm really excited for that. So stay tuned for that. Again, that'll be January 6th, 5 p.m. as always. A couple other things coming up too. We have we're doing kind of like a stream week. The week between Christmas and New Year's, we're streaming. So here's the plan, and you'll see the images at the end of the video to reinforce this. On Monday the 28th, we're doing our Let's Chill stream. So there won't be one on the 27th, but there will be one on the 28th, and we're going to go 8 to midnight. We are going all day. We're going all night long, pretty much. Probably play some Animal Crossing. We'll maybe play some more Super Mario 64, play some Minecraft. We're just going to play a couple different games and just hang out and chill like we normally do. On the 29th, we're doing our Christmas at Freddy's finale, and I promise we're going to move on to FNAF 2. I think I'm throwing in the towel on the first FNAF. Maybe if I get some extra time this week, I will try it again, but I don't foresee it happening. So I think we'll just move on to FNAF 2. And maybe we'll continue that into January as well with being able to do like FNAF 3 and FNAF 4. Maybe. We'll see. And then on Wednesday, the biggest day of the year, we are doing a charity live stream starting at noon on my Twitch, twitch.tv/crazyouthleader. We're going to go from noon to midnight, and we are raising money for the Humane Society. There should be a fundraiser on Facebook right now that has all the information you'll need in order to help donate, help raise funds for it. All that. This is just kind of our end of the year big send out for 2020. I said we're going to end 2020 strong, and I fully am committing to that. And then after that, we're going to take the 31st, the 1st, the 2nd, and maybe the 3rd off. And, well, there'll be a Wonder With Me on the 3rd, but maybe not a Let's Chill stream. And then we're just going to be able to take the holidays and relax. Really exciting stuff. I will say, too, on the 27th, or this upcoming Sunday, Let's Talk Grief will be available. I know I've teased it enough. I finally am getting the script done. I'm hopefully going to record it today, too. Well, the day I'm recording this. So, yes, that'll be coming out the 27th. I don't have a time yet, probably around 2, 3 o'clock, but don't hold me to that. It'll be scheduled. I'll schedule that as a premiere so everybody can see it. But, yeah, and then, like I said, we're just going to end 2020 strong and take a breath of fresh air into 2021. So, and that's why I'm so happy about us doing the Power of Influence series, because, we need to learn about influencing the influences we have on our lives and how to be a positive influence to others and other people's lives. So, that'll be fun, but until then, stay safe out there, stay sane if you can, and above everything else, stay blessed. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you back on the Word on January 6th. Stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.